Good evening, I'm Haley Hollinger.
And I'm Victoria Niemsch, and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. A man is in custody at the Southeast Ohio Regional Jail for first-degree murder. The Nelsonville Police Department was dispatched to a home in Butchell yesterday for questionable death. When officers arrived, they discovered a deceased male with a fatal head wound. The Athens County Coroner's Office was notified and also responded to the scene. The suspect was identified as Brian K. Hart, a 32-year-old man from Pomeroy. Hart was located at his home and was then taken into custody and transported to the Athens County Prosecutor's Office before being sent to the regional jail. A Lawrence County woman is facing robbery charges after stealing money from a gas station. Lawrence County Sheriff's deputies say 32-year-old Brittany Watkins robbed the Marathon gas station on County Road 144 in South Point late last night. Reporters say a bystander who was in a parking lot next door witnessed the woman get into a van and take off. Watkins was later arrested in Chesapeake after deputies identified the van a short time later. Reports say her 3-year-old child was still inside the vehicle. Charges include suspicion of robbery and a felony of the second degree. Officials say additional charges could be added, including child endangerment.
The Hocking County Sheriff's Office, the Southeastern Ohio Human Trafficking Task Force, and the FBI conducted a joint human trafficking operation in the Hocking Hills area over the weekend. Several individuals from around Ohio and across the country responded to online ads to meet women and children and pay to engage in various sexual acts with them. The prostitution sting operation resulted in 5 total arrests, one which was a minor. Hocking County Sheriff Lanny E. North said, quote, "I want to thank the Southeastern Ohio Human Trafficking Task Force, the FBI, and the Massachusetts State Police for helping to conduct this operation. Due to the response we received from individuals across the country, we anticipate on conducting additional human trafficking operations in the future," end quote.
Good afternoon. I'm your lead forecaster, Erin Ashley, and if you are out and about right now trick-or-treating, we're looking at some spotty showers. You can see right here in the blue, right here in Athens County, we have had some things move through the area earlier today, and we're starting to see a little bit of showers enter the area as we speak. But if you look at how small they are, they will leave this area as soon as they enter it. And that was shown right here, excuse me, by just how fast these clouds are going to be moving through. But if we look at those temperatures, you can see we're sitting very nice and content in the mid-60s. As you can see, everything's starting to move up towards the northeast. And you see right down here, we've got some clear skies as soon as these last couple bits of clouds kind of push through the area. So if you're out about trick-or-treating, maybe grab that rain jacket just for those last spotty showers. But overall, we are seeing mostly clear conditions. And I'll talk about my later forecast, what we can expect over the weekend. Haley?
Local organizations could be receiving grant money to educate LGBTQ individuals about the monkeypox vaccination. This comes after the Community Education Group, a West Virginia nonprofit, is awarded $100,000 for this type of education. The grant money is meant to be used to distribute materials, hold meetings aimed at reducing cultural stigmas of the virus, and to offer grants to other organizations. CEG plans to create monkeypox digital resource guides for health departments, rural healthcare associations, and LGBTQ groups. They will accept grant applications from organizations in other Appalachian states, including Ohio and Kentucky. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says that $250 million are going to be spent on 408 clean drinking water projects. In his statement last week, he said the projects will affect 102 counties across Kentucky. They will directly benefit 1,500 unserved homes and 38,000 undeserved homes. Beshear says the water program is going to give clean drinking water access and sewer and water system improvements to the affected homes or counties. Any grant recipient must accept and state the use of the grant by 2024. There will also be additional projects and improvements that the funding will go towards.
Athens County Commissioners tentatively awards over $1 million in American Rescue Plan funds to the village of Albany for a sewer project. In August, village officials met with the commission to discuss the proposed sewer project. which would extend service to the industrial park on Carpenter Road, according to the Athens Messenger. The park is located near the Ohio University Airport. The mayor of Albany says the new project would make the park more attractive for businesses looking to relocate in the area. The next step is for a letter to be sent to the village outlining what documentation the federal government requires for the funding. The annual Honey for the Heart parade returned to Athens on Saturday to kick off Halloween weekend, and everyone had a great time. I was at the parade and spoke to the organizers.
Giant puppets, vibrant costumes and lots of balloons filled Court Street in Athens on Saturday as the Honey for the Heart parade kicked off Halloween weekend. The annual parade is organized by Passionworks Studio and has become a staple in the city. The organizers want to bring joy to people.
What we try to do and what we work to do is to create a manifestation of the spirit of Athens.
Established in 2012, this year marks the 10th anniversary of Honey for the Heart, and it's the first time since the pandemic that everything is back to normal.
It's good to be back after the pandemic. This was a good kickoff.
Everyone is welcome at the parade. Passionworks artists and volunteers work all through the months of October to create beautifully crafted costumes.
This is all upcycled materials, and so people bring in all kinds of stuff, and then we magically blend it together into these puppets.
But Honey for the Heart is much more than just a parade. It's also a really important part of community life.
So we have like this great community coming into Central Venue and making the puppets. My favorite part of the parade, I think, is seeing everybody else in the community along the street, like families and faces and smiles.
Once again, the organizers and participants of Honey for the Heart turned the city into a colorful festival that celebrates life, bringing much joy to the spectators of the parade. 2023 will mark the 25th anniversary of Passionworks Studio, and the artists have lots of plans for the future. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Victoria Niemsch.
For more information on Passionworks Studio and how to get involved, visit their website at www.passionworks.org. A man is finally arrested in association to the Delphi, Indiana murders after 6 years. Plus, Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker is charged with assault and attempted kidnapping. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
An ancient mystery. Who created the Nazca lines and why? Can recent discoveries and modern science reveal clues?
We let AI learn from these famous geoglyphs.
We do archaeology without digging.
We're connected to our ancestors, the past, the present, and the future.
Nazca Desert Mystery on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
They make an unmistakable sound. But woodpeckers are incredibly varied. And these charismatic birds drum in almost every forest, everywhere in the world. Think you know the woodpecker? Think again. This is the whole story.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains.
I believe in making my money the hard way, so I work for it. And every job I do with pride. I ain't gonna let nobody drag my spirit down.
Lively performances where old tradition meets new, here on Song of the Mountains.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
On Finding Your Roots, actors Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh my goodness! I did not know that!
Scarlett Johansson.
We are all a product of this big melting pot.
And chef Lydia Bastianich.
It was a scary time.
Ancestors who fled.
It must have been hell.
Escaped.
That border really meant a division.
And took a chance.
Your father's story is a miracle.
He's my hero.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
A man is arrested for the death of 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German in Delphi, Indiana. after nearly 6 years. Indiana State Police officials say Richard Allen was arrested last Wednesday and charged with 2 counts of murder on Friday. Ivan Rodriguez reports on what investigators are saying and what led them to this announcement.
For the last several years, these 4 words have terrorized the town of Delphi, Indiana. The man on the recording, the first person of interest in the killings of Abby Williams and Libby German. And while Indiana State Police have still not identified the man heard in the video, a suspect has finally been charged with the murders, 50-year-old Richard Allen.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation.
In 2017, Abby and Libby went for a hike at the Delphi Historic Trails during a day off from school, but never returned. The next day, on Valentine's Day, their bodies were found in the woods near a railroad bridge they were photographing.
There's a lot of hopefulness that this is it, that this will be the end of what our town has been experiencing for so long.
Investigators in the case chose not to share details about the arrest or evidence.
We will not jeopardize its integrity by releasing or discussing documents or information before the appropriate time.
What we do know is that Richard Allen had been living in Delphi all along and worked at the local CVS pharmacy. Allen pleaded not guilty during an initial hearing, but today, investigators say, is about Abby, Libby, and the community. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
On Friday, Paul Pelosi, husband of Nancy Pelosi, was attacked in his San Francisco home. The attack left him hospitalized and he has not yet been discharged. The alleged attacker was charged today. His motives remain unclear. With the attack days before the midterm election, the safety of government officials is becoming a concern. Mike Valero has the details.
The man who allegedly attacked Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, at the couple's home in San Francisco, charged with assault and attempted kidnapping today.
The investigation is ongoing, so there's a lot left to do in this case, and we're just moving along and doing the best we can to get the evidence that we can get to our prosecutors.
Police say 42-year-old David DePape entered the home through a back door. Pelosi was able to call 911 at the start of the attack. Officers say they saw DePape violently assault Pelosi with a hammer before they tackled him to the ground and arrested him.
They were actually trying to make target identification, saying, "Where is Nancy?" All of this eliminates the narrative that this is a crime of opportunity broadly.
Even though police have not released a clear motive, authorities believe the attack was intentional.
Definitely, in my mind's eye, there was more to it. It wasn't just the assault, but there's a potential kidnapping or a potential hostage situation here. All very serious.
DePape, described by those who knew him as an odd character, posted memes and conspiracy theories on Facebook about COVID vaccines, the 2020 election, and the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The assault has renewed conversation on political violence.
I mean, it's horrific, and it's horrible, and it shouldn't happen anywhere.
We've got to say, we can have a heated conversation about the issues, but this violence has got to stop.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Former President Donald Trump doesn't want his tax returns released. His legal team filed an emergency request with the Supreme Court today after a federal appeals court cleared the way last week for the returns to be disclosed to the House Ways and Means Committee. The House has tried a number of avenues over the years to get a look at Trump's returns. But in the fling, Trump requests the court put an administrative hold on the release of the tax returns by Wednesday. That's because Thursday is when the ruling allowing for their disclosure goes into effect. The Supreme Court justices are considering whether to review the lower court's ruling. How to stay safe while trick-or-treating tonight? That story still ahead.
And catch when our next warm-up is in my full forecast, but meanwhile, check us out on social media on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
An ancient mystery. Who created the Nazca lines and why? Can recent discoveries and modern science reveal clues?
We let AI learn from these famous geoglyphs.
We do archaeology without digging.
We're connected to our ancestors, the past, the present, and the future.
Nazca Desert Mystery on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Now streaming on the PBS app, Antiques Road Trip.
I like it.
20 seasons.
Ooh, pretty good, yeah.
Of antiques experts.
Oh, stop it.
Scouring Britain in classic cars.
Yeah, baby.
On the hunt for hidden treasures.
I think I found something.
It's brilliant.
The goal? To make the biggest profit at auction.
You're some man.
There'll be worthy winners and valiant losers. Antiques Road Trip. Stream all episodes now with Passport on the PBS app.
On Finding Your Roots, actors Lupita Nyong'o,
Oh my goodness. I did not know that.
Scarlett Johansson,
We are all a product of this big melting pot.
and chef Lydia Bastianich.
It was a scary time.
Ancestors who fled,
It must have been hell.
escaped,
That border really meant a division.
and took a chance.
Your father's story is a miracle.
He's my hero.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
They make an unmistakable sound. But woodpeckers are incredibly varied. And these charismatic birds drum in almost every forest, everywhere in the world. Think you know the woodpecker? Think again. This is the whole story.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
Welcome back, and I hope you've stayed dry today as these clouds just kind of suspend over us. We have had some showers, especially here in the Athens area throughout the day today and for the majority of our viewing area. And that's because of all these clouds that you see right here above us. But luckily, we have some clearing in store. Heading as soon as tomorrow, actually. But today we did see that chance for showers, 40%. We're looking quite comfortable with our temperature in the mid to upper 60s. And even that overnight low will not get too chilly. We're looking at the mid to low 50s. Very comfortable for this time of year, especially if you're out trick-or-treating. You are looking at some very nice conditions besides these chances for rain. So looking at the local radar, you can see that we have had some showers move through the southern parts of our viewing area. Here in Athens, we're looking kind of dry, but again, you can see like these tiny little bits and pieces of clouds that are just bringing up the slightest bit of rain. Again, it's nothing, it's really not going to create too much chaos heading throughout the night. It's not like trick-or-treat will get rained out. But again, you might want to be cautious if you're heading out on the roads, especially later tonight. We did see here those showers again. We did see a line come through earlier this morning that, again, made conditions a little wet and icky heading out the door this morning. But heading out the door tomorrow morning, you can expect things to really clear up. We're only looking at mostly cloudy skies. And again, that low is pretty comfortable in the mid to low 50s. Might want to grab a light jacket heading out the door tonight, especially out trick-or-treating. But looking at the surface features, you see that this low pressure system bringing those cooler temperatures that we've seen over the past couple of days, as well as that chance for rain. But as soon as this moves out of the area, we are looking at some high pressure that'll just coast on into the area, bringing very nice conditions. Tomorrow, we're still looking at that chance for clouds, mostly cloudy. Temperature's going to remain about the same in the mid 60s. We're going to start to see temperatures drop a little bit overnight in the mid 40s. Again, grab that coat heading out the door, especially since we're not going to see too much sun tomorrow. But again, as soon as Wednesday, high pressure is going to coast into the region, start to dry things up as soon as that were to occur. Look at those temperatures. We're climbing into the 70s by Thursday, mostly sunny skies. And again, that is because we are seeing that high pressure just kind of sail into the area. By the weekend, expect clouds to kind of linger, but again, because of that sun reaching us on Thursday, we will begin to warm up into the low 70s. Fall is going to feel a little bit like summer briefly. We are tracking a cold front moving through the area this weekend, early on Sunday. Looking into Monday, that temperature is going to sit in the mid 70s, which is absolutely crazy, especially since we are nearing the end of October and we're welcoming in November. Haley?
The death toll rises to 155 today, following the deadly disaster in the nightlife district of Seoul, South Korea. Partygoers were crushed as a large crowd celebrating Halloween tried to move through a narrow alley on Saturday night. The majority of victims are people in their 20s. 5 were high school students, and the youngest a middle school student. 26 foreign nationals are among those dead. South Korean authorities said that today they had no guidelines on how to handle the huge crowds. Official memorial altars were set up in central Seoul today with photos showing crowds visiting to pay their respects.
Tonight, many children will be out trick-or-treating. But before you head out for a full night of fun, experts say to make sure you're doing everything you can to protect your little ones. In this Halloween edition of Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips on how families can stay safe and healthy tonight.
It's time for carved pumpkins, costumes, and candy. But before you head out this Halloween, make sure your child gets a good dinner.
Something filling that will fuel them throughout the night of trick-or-treating, but also will help so they don't want to just binge candy all night long.
Taking some water while trick-or-treating can help ghosts and goblins stay hydrated. When it comes to their costume, make sure it fits well so they don't trip. And if there's a mask that they can clearly see out of it, use a flashlight or reflective tape so they're easily seen.
The real key is making sure your child is visible to cars driving by, and so anything bright is great.
Trick or treat in well-lit areas at houses clearly open to visitors. Dr. Natalie Toney with Orlando Health's Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children says the best practice is to wait to eat the goodies.
When your child brings the candy home, it's always a good idea to have an adult look over the candy and make sure everything's in commercially wrapped packages and that it's safe to be eaten.
And when it comes to candy, set expectations early on how much they can consume.
They likely will be able to eat a few more pieces of candy than normal, but making sure they understand that we're going to be saving a lot of the candy to eat in moderation throughout the next few weeks.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The pediatrician says young children should be accompanied by an adult when trick-or-treating. For teens who go without parents, make sure you go over the route they'll take, when they should be home, and pedestrian safety.
Coming up in sports, Ohio football prepares for a battle with the MAC East Division leader Buffalo on Tuesday. Here from head coach Tim Halvin ahead of the matchup.
An ancient mystery. Who created the Nazca lines and why? Can recent discoveries and modern science reveal clues?
We let AI learn from these famous geoglyphs.
We do archaeology without digging.
We're connected to our ancestors, the past, the present, and the future.
Nazca Desert Mystery on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Southeast Ohio football is as exciting as ever, and Gridiron Glory covers all the action from your team. 8 conferences bring the biggest stories from the 7-4-0, whether it's on our show every Friday night or on social media as one of our many digital games. So follow along because Gridiron Glory is about more than just winning. It's community, it's pride, and it's tradition. So remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, we take a look back at some of our favorite treasures from the second largest city in Texas, San Antonio.
Oh my, I had no idea.
Gee, for something that's just been collecting dust, that's not bad.
Things got a little out of hand, so I went and rented a U-Haul trailer.
Oh dear. Think you know which treasures kept their value? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage San Antonio, Hour 1.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
On Finding Your Roots, actors Lupita Nyong'o,
Oh my goodness! I did not know that.
Scarlett Johansson,
We are all a product of this big melting pot.
and chef Lydia Bastianich.
It was a scary time.
Ancestors who fled,
It must have been hell.
escaped,
That border really meant a division.
and took a chance.
Your father's story is a miracle.
He's my hero.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Happy Halloween, everyone. I'm Joe Collins, and if you're watching during trick-or-treating, remember, look for those king-size candy bars. But let's talk about some sports, shall we? The Ohio soccer team had one last opportunity to pack chest in 2022 as they hosted rival Miami in the first round of the MAC tournament yesterday.
I can't thank enough the group of players that we have and the fifth-year seniors, the seniors that are moving on from here. It's an exceptional group of women. I'm proud of them as student athletes, but I'm more proud of them as people.
Ohio unfortunately lost the game 1-0 as Miami scored in the 73rd minute to fall in that one. Also with the loss brings the end to the historic career of Ohio forward Abby Townsend. Grad student finishes as the school leader in assists and games started, while also finishing 4th in points with 71. Townsend started all but 2 games over her career with the Bobcats. Blistering hot. That's what Ohio volleyball has been over the past few weeks. And over the weekend, they extended their conference win streak to 6 games and have won 8 out of their last 9. 2 teams the Cats disposed of this weekend were Western Michigan and Northern Illinois. After splitting the first 2 sets with the Broncos, Bobcats took the next 2 and swept the Huskies. Parker Kwiatkowski and Leah McClain both had over 20 assists each in both matches. Gridiron Glory has entered the most wonderful time of the year. No, I'm not talking about Christmas. That would be the playoffs. Story of the weekend was the Eastern Eagles, who won the first home playoff game in Meigs County history. You heard that right, in county history. Things are indeed rocking in Reidsville as the Eagles used 274 yards on the ground to tame the Shadyside Tigers 34-6. Eastern head coach Jason Jackson emphasized just how honored he is to be able to coach this group of kids.
They have listened, they have worked. These guys are the old school, run through a brick wall. They don't ask why, they just do it. And it is a super honor to be their head coach and be part of that first home playoff win in all of Meigs County history. It's very awesome.
Whatever your plans are for Tuesday night, don't worry, I got something better for you. It's the start of midweek action, so Ohio football gets set to host the Buffalo Bulls. This matchup has huge implications for the MAC East Division race as Buffalo sits atop the division at 4-0 in MAC play, while Ohio is second at 3-1. Win by the Bobcats would allow Ohio to control its own destiny to get to the MAC championship game and also clinch a bowl game. However, head coach Tim Alvin knows the challenge that this Buffalo team brings to the table and just how good they can be.
Different team than they were a year ago, a new defensive coordinator. Mo's done a great job bringing those guys together. Obviously, they're the elite team right now. I mean, they beat the best team in the West and have beaten everybody in the East.
Remember, this game is going to be nationally televised for the entire country to see. Going to be a really big time for the university.
Yeah, and one lucky student will even win free tuition for the spring semester.
That's correct.
And now for a final look at our weather. Erin?
Thank you, Victoria. Yes, tonight we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We are seeing that chance for spotty showers, but overall we're looking very comfortable, sitting at 54, being the low for tonight. You might want to grab that jacket again with that chance for rain just kind of sitting overhead, but by tomorrow expect that chance for rain to disappear. Clouds are still going to remain overhead. Temperatures will climb into the mid-60s. We're looking pretty comfortable for tomorrow and especially heading towards the weekend. Clouds sort of stick around, but those temperatures still climb. They climb all the way to the mid to lower 70s. And by this weekend, we are starting to see that sun shine through. But early next week, we might see a chance for showers.
A NASA observatory captured this image of the sun that looks a bit like a jack-o'-lantern. It shows spots on the sun's surface that are cooler than the surrounding areas, creating a difference in color. The image was taken by NASA's Space-Based Solar Dynamics Observatory. NASA is calling it a smiling sun, but some Twitter users saw something other than a sun or jack-o'-lantern. Users compared it to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, a lion, a blockfish, or various smiley-face snack foods. The United Kingdom's Science and Technology Facilities Council photoshopped a pumpkin into the picture, turning it into a jack-o'-lantern.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Haley Hollinger.
And I'm Victoria Nietzsche. Stay tuned for the PBS News Hour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Snyder Strode Jarrett Financial in Athens, providing investment and retirement planning assistance to Southeast Ohio for over 50 years. Snyder Strode